Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something a little different, a piece of tech that's deliberately stepping out of the spotlight.
Yeah, it's really choosing not to fight the usual battles.
Exactly. Our mission today is to explore a phone that just ignored the annual race for the fastest chip or the brightest screen and instead focused on one thing.
One very universal problem, digital eye strain.
And it affects all of us. So the source material we have is all centered around this device, the TCL NXTPAPER 60 Ultra 5G.
That's right. And it's not just an alternative, it's more like a philosophical shift. It's challenging that whole peak brightness culture that dominates phone design.
Okay, let's unpack this because we're so used to looking at benchmark scores and performance metrics as the deciding factor.
Right.
But this phone seems to be suggesting that for a huge number of people, the person reading all day, the person binging shows, that comfort might just be the most valuable spec there is.
And that's our mission today. We need to distill what makes this comfort possible, look at the trade-offs they had to make, and figure out who should actually buy this thing.
Let's start with the most obvious feature, the one that just screams consumption machine.
This size.
The size, it's huge. We're talking about a 7.2-inch FHD plus display. That's almost a small tablet.
It absolutely is. And for reading long articles or watching movies, that extra screen real estate is a genuine advantage.
But that size, that immediately brings up a challenge, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. When you buy a phone this big, you are making a commitment. You're giving up easy pocketability.
And you're definitely giving up one-handed use.
Forget about it. This is a two-handed phone, plain and simple.
That's the big question for you, the listener, right out of the gate. Are you willing to carry this thing around for that unique content experience?
And the experience is unique. This is where it gets really interesting because we're not talking about a standard LCD or an OLED display.
This is the NXTPAPER technology.
Exactly. And the goal isn't just to filter some blue light, which, every phone does now.
Sure.
It's to physically change how light hits your eye.
Okay, so give us the technical breakdown. How do you get a paper-like look without just making the screen look dull, like a cheap screen protector?
It's a multi-layer solution. The sources describe it as having this integrated matte finish, a kind of micro texture applied directly over the screen layer.
A microtexture.
Yeah, and that texture is the crucial part. It works to diffuse and scatter ambient light. That's why glare is so much lower than on the mirror-like glass you see on other phones.
So it's not just a software trick, it's physical engineering.
Precisely. It's engineered to cut down reflections while still keeping the colors looking, modern and vibrant.
Yeah.
The result is just a genuinely comfortable experience.
So if you're scrolling through articles late at night,
It's noticeably easier on the eyes. It's a rebellion against just cranking up the brightness to the absolute maximum.
the benefit there is obvious. Less strain.
Mm-hmm.
But when a company spends this much engineering effort on one feature, the display, you have to wonder where they saved money.
Yeah, you do.
So let's talk performance.
It's the logical next step. They aren't going for the highest benchmark scores, so the processor isn't top of the line, but it's described as surprisingly solid for a phone in this category.
So they didn't just stick a slow chip in there and call it a day.
No, they optimized it for how they expect people to use it.
And what does that optimization look like spec-wise?
Well, they invested where it counts for multitasking. You've got 12 GBs of RAM and 256 GBs of storage.
Okay, the 12 gigs of RAM is pretty generous.
It's crucial. It means you can jump between a video, your messages, a bunch of browser tabs, and the phone doesn't just, grind to a halt.
That's smart. So
Oh.
for the average person scrolling through social media or watching YouTube, it's going to feel plenty fast.
Exactly. For the vast majority of what this phone is built for, the experience is snappy. And we have to mention the 5G support. For a phone that's kind of outside that premium price bracket, having fast data for streaming to that huge screen is a really important feature.
Okay, so we have this massive, comfortable screen and enough power to make it work smoothly. Now, let's get into the compromises.
Every phone has them.
And the first place we usually see the budget get tight is the camera system.
Absolutely. And the sources are very, very clear here. The camera system is, quote, serviceable rather than spectacular.
Which means?
It means it gets the job done. It'll take okay photos in good daylight. Video calls are fine. Your social media posts will look acceptable.
But let me challenge that for a second. In this day and age, can a phone with a merely serviceable camera really cut it? Photography is so central to the phone experience for so many.
It's a big constraint, and anyone considering this phone needs to know about it. The limits show up really fast when the light goes down.
Low light is the killer.
Yeah. Trying to get a detailed shot at night or, a picture of a fast-moving kid or a pet. The phone is going to struggle. You'll see noise and blur pretty quickly.
So if you're a photography enthusiast, this is just not the device for you.
Not at all. It's a necessary trade-off to keep the cost down and the focus on that display tech.
Which leads us to the next logical question. Endurance. If the whole point is to stare at this giant 7.2-inch screen for hours, how long does the battery last?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Running a screen that big has to be a major power draw.
It is. The battery life is described as decent. It'll get you through a full workday with moderate use.
Yeah.
The NXTPAPER tech helps a little, since it's not just relying on raw brightness, but
it's still a huge screen.
It's still a huge screen. And if you use it for its main purpose, like binge watching a few movies back to back,
What happens then?
then you're definitely looking for a charger in the afternoon. And the charging speeds are also part of that compromise. They're just reasonable.
So no super fast charging that gets you back to full in 20 minutes.
No, this isn't one of those. You'll likely be plugging it in every night.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. What's the final verdict here? The TCL NXTPAPER 6D Ultra 5G seems like an intensely focused device.
It is. It's a thoughtfully designed tool for a very specific person. The person who lives on their screen but is just tired of the eye fatigue.
It's not trying to be the best at everything.
Exactly. It knows its lane. It offers a genuinely comfortable viewing experience and reliable performance. It doesn't need to be the fastest phone. It just needs to be the phone that doesn't give you a headache.
So, based on everything we've looked at, who is the ideal user for this anomaly in the smartphone world?
This phone is purpose-built for the heavy reader, the constant media consumer. If you value a big screen that's measurably easier on your eyes over, say, high-end photography or bleeding-edge speed,
Then this is a device you should seriously consider.
I think so. It's a real productivity and consumption device for the long haul of digital life.
A great summary. And I think the big takeaway from this deep dive is a really clear statement. Comfort over prestige. It's a philosophy that actually acknowledges how we use our phones all day, every day.
And, that leads to one final provocative thought for you to consider. We all know digital eye strain is a huge growing problem. Millions of us stare at screens for 9-10 hours a day. So, if a technology like NXTPAPER is a commercial success, could we see this move from a niche feature on one phone to a must-have standard across all major smartphones, even from the big guys?
It makes you wonder, right? Are the days of retina-searing brightness finally numbered? Something to think about tonight while you're scrolling.
Absolutely.
That's all the time we have for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.